Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. Welcome back for another, well, what will soon be astronaut launches, hopefully. This is Boeing Starliner, the CST-100 Starliner. This is Orbital Flight Test-2, or OFT-2. So, as you probably know, but just in case you don't, we'll kind of go through the history here of what's going on. But this is Boeing's platform, capsule, whatever you want to call it, to send astronauts to the International Space Station. So it's basically the SpaceX Crew Dragon competitor here. So NASA has always, for a long time, I shouldn't say always, but for a long time now, their goal was to have two providers to send astronauts to the International Space Station. That way, if something happens to one, they have another provider. Let's just say, thank goodness they didn't put all their eggs in the Starliner basket, because they're catching up. All right, I'm not a Starliner hater. But we're spitting facts right now. They're playing catch up. So, side note, this is just gonna. I need to take a break for 1 second. We have a live view of the Starliner, and every once in a while you're gonna see a bug go by right there. That is driving me so crazy. Out of the corner of my monitor's over here, and I just keep seeing this bug flying. I think it's a real bug that's in my studio here. It's driving me crazy. Anyways, live view of the Starliner right there. Where was I? I was getting distracted by the bug. So yeah, Starliner and Boeing are playing a little bit of catch up. So OFT-1, if you remember, was way back in December of 2019. that feels like a lifetime ago. We're talking pre-pandemic, people. Pre-pandemic, December 2019. I don't even remember what that was like before the pandemic. Yeah, so December 2019 is when OFT-1 happened. They launched. The idea was to send an uncrewed test flight, just like Demo 1 did for SpaceX's Crew Dragon. Send an uncrewed test flight, dock it with the space station, leave it up there for a couple of days. And for today's mission, it's going to be up there for about a week. So dock it. It'll be docked for 6 days. The total mission is about a week. Yeah, they'll undock, come back, and they'll kind of run the whole end-to-end flight test. They did that. December 2019, it went up. About 31 minutes is it supposed to put itself into a stable orbit. And the Boeing engineers, about 31 minutes into flight, went, oh boy, what's going on? This isn't right. And it turns out the mission elapsed time clock was out of sync by 11 hours. So the way, my understanding on the way this works for the capsule is the capsule was supposed to pull its elapsed time from the booster to sync its clock up, so that the booster said like, hey, I launched, reset your clock to 0, we're moving now. The train's leaving the station. That didn't happen. So it got into orbit. It's only 31 minutes into the flight, but the capsule thought it was 11 hours into the flight. And it was going, all right, time to do the 11-hour flight maneuver. And, or actually, I think what it was doing was it was not in the right orbit that it was supposed to be in for the 11-hour point of the mission. And it's going, well, we got to fix this. Fire some thrusters. Let's fix it. And it started using up fuel like crazy. Engineers kind of noticed it right away. They were like, oh, this is a problem. It shouldn't be doing this. And, but then it just got compounded by the fact that they were in between TDRS satellites. That's the satellite communication network that they use to communicate with the capsule. And they were in between coverage from the TDRS satellites, and they couldn't get a signal to the capsule to say, cut it out, stop using fuel. And so by the time they got the signal to the capsule, it was too late. They'd used up too much fuel. They were not in an ideal orbit. I mean, not like in a crazy wrong orbit, but they were going to need to use fuel to get back into a correct orbit, then use fuel to get to the space station. They were just, it wasn't happening. So they decided to end the mission, bring it back, not splashdown. The Starliner lands on land in the White Sands Desert, and even that had a little bit of an issue when they jettisoned the service module area, the trunk area there. That almost collided with the capsule during re-entry, and so that was another issue. That was another software issue so the clock was a software issue. The near collision with during re-entry was also a potential software issue, and so yeah, they had a couple of issues. That was on OFT-1, December 2019. So here we are, almost almost 3 years later, 2.5 years later, ready to give it another try. We were here kind of at this point back in July of 2021, so almost a year ago. We were at this point. If you recall, OFT-2 mission was rolled out to the pad the end of July, like July 30th, 2021. They were ready to go, having some problems with thruster valves. So they said, all right, we're going to delay it by a couple days. They try to do it again August 3rd, August 4th, somewhere in that range, and couldn't figure out what was going on with the capsule's thruster system. And they had to scrub the mission again. So they rolled it back in, tried to figure out what was going on with that. That was back in July and August, and now here we are, May 2022, ready to try again. So hopefully, I know it's sometimes it's fun for people to joke around about the Boeing capsule, and I'm guilty of that myself. But hopefully things are good. Ideally, I mean, we want I know we got a lot of people that love SpaceX, and I love SpaceX, but we want Boeing to succeed. We want to have 2 providers to send astronauts to the International Space Station, so we want this to succeed. And hopefully we'll have 2 providers. It'll be a smooth mission here, and we'll be good to go. That's what we're hoping for. So now you're caught up with everything that's happening. So there's the history of it. We've got NASA is live. I'll switch over to them so we can listen in and kind of check in on what's happening there. So this is the NASA feed right here. We also got the Kennedy Space Center's kind of news feed, which is just the clean feed of the launch pad here with our bug that keeps flying around and bugging the heck out of me. But we're about 44 minutes to launch, so we've still got some time. We're getting a little bit closer here. Weather is looking great. We'll take a look at weather in just a bit. But I think things are okay. I'm gonna have to listen in, see if anything has changed since I started talking a few minutes ago. But I think we're in good shape. So let's check in with you guys. Let's see what's happening. Hopefully everybody's excited to see Boeing launch. Like I said, I know people like to joke and laugh it up about Boeing, but in the end, we should all want them to succeed. We want to have two. Where's my sound? Where's Jim? We want to have 2 platforms that can send
American astronauts on American rockets from American soil.
Right? That's what we want.
American astronauts on American rockets from American soil.
Yeah, yay, America. So that's NASA's goal. That's the U.S. government's goal. I mean, we want to be able to send our own astronauts up. We want to be a leader in space flight. So that's the idea. One more time.
American astronauts on American rockets from American soil.
All right, let's check in with everybody. We got Star Andrea 22, a member for 18 months over on the YouTube channel. Star Andrea, thank you very much. Says congratulations to everyone. I'm assuming you mean the flight teams and everybody. It's been a journey to get here. Managard, one of our longtime community members, became a member of the ground control. Thanks, Managard. Always good to see you. Let's see what we have for comments here. We're gonna scroll through. We'll see. I see a whole bunch of all the regulars are in the house. You see, David T. Hey yo, first time I've been able to watch in months. Well, welcome, David. Thanks for jumping in and joining with us. Eagle Soars USA, of course, one of our regulars as well. We've got all our amazing moderators. We got the whole This looks like the whole moderator team is here today. And then, of course, we got all the people over on Facebook. Let's see, Jeff Walsma, another Facebook regular, I think, right, Jeff? You're here all the time. I see you here. And then I think I saw it. Nomadic said a lot of the jokes come from some of the struggles. I can't find the comment. Where did he say? A lot of the jokes come from a wide variety of Boeing issues across all their product lines. Yeah, it doesn't help that obviously you had the Boeing issue, the airplane issue with Boeing about the 737 MAX that had some tragic issues. That it was all kind of the same timeline. That plus the Starliner was having issues, and yeah, it wasn't a great time period there for Boeing. But hopefully they learned, and they're back up and go. Listen to me talking like they learned, like as if I could do any of this, which I can't. So. All right, so let's jump over and see. Let's take a look at. Actually, let's listen in for a second because I see some
of you been following this
mission control. Oh,
Rosie the Rocketeer or test device.
Oh, there you go.
In the commander's seat right now.
Here's Rosie the Rocketeer, the anthropomorphic test device. So there is a test dummy, the anthropomorphic test device, the ATD, seated in there with a whole bunch of sensors loaded up, ready to go, so they can actually get the the data for what it's going to be like for astronauts. One of the things that's kind of cool, and I hope they do this for Boeing Starliner as well, but SpaceX actually recorded the sounds of what it sounds like when you're launching on a Crew Dragon rocket, when you go to space, when you come back, all that kind of stuff. They actually recorded the sounds so that astronauts during their training, like, they're not just kind of sitting there going like, woo, rocket ignites, yay. Like, they don't have to, they can just play what it actually sounds like. So that's pretty cool to get some realistic, immersive training there. So I hope they do the same thing with Boeing. I'm sure they're going to. But yeah, this is this Rosie's second flight? Yeah, I assume it's the same ATD that was on the first OFT mission. So, all right, let's take a look. Let's go into what we're gonna see here for the actual mission. So today's mission is launching from this is gonna be Slick 41 down at Cape Canaveral here. So we scroll all the way in here. There's our map, courtesy of my friend Declan over at flightclub.io. We've got our two big pads up here at the top, 39B, 39A. Here's where Crew Dragon launches from, that's 39A. This is SpaceX's other pad, this is Slick 40. This is where SLS is gonna launch from, this is 39B. So you got 39B, 39A, 40, and this is Slick 41. This is United Launch Alliance's pad. This is where they're gonna launch the Starliner from. So the mission profile is going to look a little bit like this. We're going to get ignition. We'll have that first booster engine cutoff here. That's going to splash down, not on a drone chip, but yeah, somewhere out here. Just kind of goodbye. And second stage continues on. Up here, actually, these are, yeah, so this is actually our solid rocket boosters here. I believe that's what our first arc is there. Then we get booster engine cutoff. That's gonna end up way out here. Then we have second stage. Here's our second stage cutoff, or main engine cutoff. And then we're heading northeast here is ultimately where we're going. And that's obviously to catch up with the International Space Station. Now, I have like super sad news, which is that one of my favorite tools, that Stuff in Space tool, is down. It's gone. Like, it's like they abandoned the project. My cool little 3D thing that I used to show all the time. I found that out at I don't know, about half an hour before I was gonna go live. All of a sudden, the Stuff in Space website is just gone. I'm so bummed. But anyways, so now I'm using the NASA one for now until I can find a better one. But this is the path of the International Space Station here. So you can see the yellow path is the orbit that it's currently, or I'm sorry, the white path is the orbit that it's currently on. And let's see, yeah, is that correct? Yeah, the yellow path is the path that it was on. White path is the orbit that it's currently on. So here's our space station right here. You can see it's going to pass pretty close over Florida. Up here, we're getting there. And then let's take a look at what our rocket actually is here today, so you get an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about all these things. So this is the Atlas V, the Centaur upper stage, and this Boeing Starliner capsule up on top. So this is called the Atlas V N22 rocket. So Atlas names their rockets based on the payload fairing size, how many upper stage engines there are, and how many solid rocket boosters are strapped to it, because it's kind of a variable configuration rocket, which is kind of cool. So N22 simply means we've got no payload fairing because we have a capsule. We've got two Centaur upper stage engines, and we've got two solid rocket boosters. So the two solid rocket boosters, something that Atlas V has done many times. But the two upper stage engine, that's these RL10 engines that are on the Centaur upper stage, that's actually kind of unique. They've only done that one other time before on OFT-1. This is the only time they used the two RL10 engines on the Centaur upper stage. So any of their other Atlas V missions, they've always just used one. They did design it to be able to use two, it's just never really had a need for it. So the only time we've seen that come up was on OFT-1, and this will be the second time on OFT-2. So that's kind of our expanded view of the rocket. You can't say exploded view. I made that mistake one time when speaking with one of the marketing people at United Launch Alliance, and they said, "Oh no, we don't use exploded view here." They said it's the expanded view. Exploded view for hopefully obvious reasons. So don't ever call this the exploded view. This is the expanded view. So, oh, jeez. Anyways, we'll grab our weather here real quick, then we'll check in with NASA and we'll see what they've got going on, if there's anything special happening over on the NASA channel here. So let's take a look at our weather here. Weather's actually looking really good. Actually, before we go to the map, let me show you the what the 45th Space Wing Weather Squadron has put up for our launch mission execution forecast. So originally they said 20% chance of violating launch constraints. That'd be an 80% chance of go. It's actually been upgraded since they put this out to now we're only 10% chance of violating conditions, 90% go. So primary concerns were cumulus cloud rule. Sounds like that's not going to be a factor. That's kind of one of and anvil cloud rules. Both of those seems like those are no longer a major factor anymore. But that was the primary concern, was cumulus clouds, anvil clouds. You don't want to get that rocket-induced lightning. So now that that seems pretty unlikely, we're up to 90% chance of go conditions. So weather's looking great. We're talking 10-mile-an-hour winds over at on the ground level at Cape Canaveral. That's what's that, like 6 knots, kilometers per hour, 13 kilometers per hour. That's our winds there. Upper level winds. We're also not looking too bad here. Oh wow, we're zoomed way out. Upper level winds not too bad. 56 miles per hour. That's like nothing in the rocket world here. 90 kilometers per hour. That'll be no problem. Rocket should be able to pop right up and through that. So we don't really have any concerns. We don't have to worry about for this mission. We don't have to worry about booster recovery conditions, so that takes out one factor. I don't know. So eventually they'll have to worry about abort conditions for the capsule if they have to do some sort of in-flight abort. Just like the SpaceX Crew Dragon, they'll have to be concerned with weather conditions for the abort scenarios. I don't know how much they're going to be concerned about that today, just since it's a uncrewed demo mission. So I don't know if that's going to be a major factor. So yeah, our weather's looking great though. So we're in good shape. And then one thing that I do think is really cool that I do wish SpaceX would do is United Launch Alliance puts out this cool little launch visibility map here to tell you that if you're in this area, here's when you might be able to see it. So if you're in Florida, what do we got? Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even gets up into Virginia, even looks like a little bit of Delaware, Maryland maybe. So there's some visibility pretty much all up the East Coast if you've got good weather there. So depending on where you are, let me hide this here, you can see, find your ring there and find how long after launch you'll be able to see it, right? So if you're way up in like the Virginia area, I mean, you gotta wait till you get to ring 10 or 11 there, which is like about 5 minutes and 30 seconds after launch before you'll be able to see anything. But obviously if you're standing right at Cape Canaveral, you're gonna see it in a few seconds. so there, I do kind of think that's pretty cool. So there, I think we covered all our stuff. Here's our capsule. 31 minutes to launch. We should be pad clear at this point. We should have done pressure checks, communication checks. We got a big weather gate coming up here in 50 seconds. And what I mean by a weather gate is you've got things like your lightning strike rule that you can't have any lightning strikes within 30 minutes of launch. So if there's a lightning strike after we pass that weather gate, it means the mission's scrubbed. That's the meaning of that. Like if you have a lightning strike at 31 minutes prior to launch, you might still be okay as long as there's nothing again all the way down to, you could get down to 1 minute prior to launch. Now you've got that 30-minute buffer. you'd be able to launch just fine. But if you have a lightning strike at 29 minutes prior to launch, it's too close to launch time, and it ends up getting scrubbed. So that weather gate coming up in 5 seconds here now. So hopefully we got nothing to deal with lightning. Okay, so we got a controller poll coming up here in 4 minutes, so I do want to check over and we'll listen in. Let's see, they're probably playing music to this here. Yeah, so they got some music playing, so I'm not going to turn them up quite yet. I was just about to turn them up, but we'll just look at the pretty pictures for now. And let's check in with you guys. You guys excited about this? You guys still are we still is the chat anti Boeing? Are we cheering Boeing on? Hopefully everybody's cheering Boeing on, but let's see. What's the mileage radius for lightning strikes? That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the answer. I don't know the answer for safety, like actual rocket safety reasons, right? So they say, like, as a person, if you have lightning within 10 miles of you, like, you're in danger. So I want to say, I could be completely making this number up, but I want to say it's within like 20 miles that they consider that radius for that. But I don't know where I'm getting that number from. I might just be making that up. But if anybody knows the answer, let me know. But I know they have they have sensors up and down the area there, but I don't know how far out they extend, where they're keeping an eye out for that lightning. Where Chris says we're anti-Boeing, but we're cheering for the flamey stick. All right, fair enough. We need the hype music soon, says Pocket Hockle. We got, this is my first, let's see, is that, no. Just a thought, but spacecraft aren't referred to capsules for years now? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I mean, we have capsules, right? We got they got Starliner capsule. I don't know, people still refer to that as a capsule. Something expanded on the floor. Yeah, I kicked it's my rudder pedals for my flight simulator. They're underneath my tables when I was talking about the expanded view, and I accidentally kicked the rudder pedals. Let's see. Cheryl Johnson, welcome to the ground control. Thanks for becoming a channel member. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate that. Saw Star Andrea 22 sent over a, let's see, I guess those are called super stickers. Nice little heart. Thanks, Star Andrea, one of our big supporters. Appreciate that. If it comes down on parachutes, it's a capsule. Yeah, so it is going to be, it's a parachute recovery, right? So the Boeing Starliner is a little bit different recovery-wise, just because it actually lands on land. So it's, oh, actually, there you go. You can see it right there. Lands on land, got those little bit of airbag cushion there on the bottom. Comes down, gives a little, comes down under parachute, but not a splashdown like we see with Crew Dragon. Jeff Walsma sent over a couple of Facebook stars. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We should be getting a controller poll soon. I don't know if they'll...
along with NASA astronauts.
Yeah, that's right, G.
I don't know if we'll hear it. Also, I had trouble trying to find a new timeline this time around. This timeline I came up with is from... It's from last year, last summer, so hopefully it's still the same order of events, because I could not find an updated timeline this time around. Alright, they're still doing some interviews. I was hoping to see... I was hoping to hear a controller poll, but we'll switch back over. We want to see the rocket. Show the rocket, right? And this is also, so we do have some astronauts. You kind of feel bad a little bit for some of the astronauts. You've got astronauts that have been assigned to the first crewed missions of the Boeing Starliner. Now, I can't even remember. The first crewed missions are... let's see. Crewed flight test. Are we... It says to be determined. I thought we were determined on that. 3 astronauts will serve as the first crew. It was Commander Barry Wilmore, pilot Michael Finke, and Nicole Mann, which they call Duke. They were initially assigned to the mission. That's right. Did they get? Oh, that's right. They got reassigned to Crew 5. Forgot about that. Yep. So I guess we're still to be determined on the first crewed mission. Because they shifted some astronauts around, knowing that, well, you got astronauts that were ready to send up to the space station, and I'm really trying not to sound anti-Boeing, but you got astronauts ready to. I'm not anti-Boeing, I promise. I'm just frustrated for the program. But we got astronauts ready to send to the space station, and they're kind of just sitting around waiting for Boeing to get the capsule ready. So it kind of makes sense that they switch them over to SpaceX's Crew 5 to be like, all right, these guys are ready to go. Let's send them to space. By the time Boeing's ready, we'll get a new crew ready. All right. Hey, TJ Cooney. TJ runs an awesome YouTube channel called I Need More Space. If you don't follow it, you gotta go check it out. He's running some shorts now on the on YouTube, the little short 1-minute vertical videos. Thinking about doing that myself. I gotta find some more time lately. Let's see. Nomadic Water. I think March 2023 is the new projected first service mission. Not sure about the first crewed flights. Yeah. So March 2023 is Starliner 1. That would be the first official certified mission. Crewed flight test is supposed to happen. That'd be the CFT mission. Oh, hopefully it's just CFT. We don't have to worry about calling it CFT-1 and CFT-2. But the first CFT mission is supposed to be this year later on, but it's kind of subject to how this mission goes, right? Everybody's got that big question mark. We need to see how this mission's going to go. All right, let's see. Are you planning on doing these short videos like you did in the past? You talking about the shorts that I was just saying for TJ? Yeah, I would like to do, I don't know, I feel like I could do shorts a little more easily than I can do long form. Long form videos are hard to make. There's a lot of research and scripting and putting stuff together and finding clips and everything. It's not easy. I'm stealing TJ's thunder, but definitely check out TJ's channel. But TJ decided he's gonna do he's gonna put some more shorts out so that focus on actually getting some content out. Not a knock against TJ. I hope it didn't come across as that. But yeah, it's just it's hard to do those big videos, and I mean TJ does an amazing job at some of those big videos. But yeah, I gotta try to find a way to make some videos again myself. Bring back 2-Minute Tuesday, says Anita. I knew it. Somebody was gonna say bring back 2-Minute Tuesday. Those Tuesday videos, everybody's saying it. Bring back 2-Minute Tuesday. I know, I should. I don't know. Please don't break your Starship model today. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. We do have the Starship standing by just in case we need to provide some entertainment by breaking the Starship like we did last time. We're going to be very gentle with it. Easy does it. Set it over here. So we're going to try not to break that today. All right. What's happening over at NASA? What do we got? I want to hear the countdown loop. Why are they talking over the... I hate that they're talking over the countdown loop. Like, if they're talking on the countdown, like, quiet for a minute. I want to hear them. Sorry, NASA. Listen, you can see. I need a clean. Oh, this is driving me crazy. I can hear the countdown loop. Oh, sorry. You guys can't hear it because I had it muted.
And before we came on the air, the spacecraft and launch vehicle were synchronized with the mission elapsed time at L-3 hours. That will be done again during the terminal count, and the flight director will verify it once we get into Ascent. Now again, in just a few minutes, we are expecting the Starliner readiness poll. Let's take a live look now inside the Boeing Mission Control Center. That is where that poll will come from. And it is a very short poll. We will hear the spacecraft launch conductor, Louis Atchison, poll people inside that room in charge of the propulsion system and power and many other subsystems. We will hear 3 calls.
All right, this is driving me crazy. I know I talk a lot, but
and that's because
you gotta let us listen to the countdown poll.
To mission support as things shift over to Houston, so they are there to have their back of their colleagues over in Houston. We will also hear from the spacecraft test conductor during that poll, who monitors our power systems, and the 3rd call will come from the flight director over in Mission Control. So we are expecting that poll to happen here pretty soon, and I think we will stay quiet for just a moment and listen in for that poll.
Yeah, okay. That's what we want.
Flight STC MSR Manager, this is Slick on Launch Ops. This time we'll conduct our CST-100 poll for terminal count. Report readiness to support terminal count when prompted. MSR Manager. MSR is ready. STC.
ECT is ready.
Flight.
Let us go.
CST-100 is proceeding with final configuration for launch. All operators monitor LCCs and report any LCC violations to your operations leads. SMD, Slick, Launch Ops.
SMD.
CST-100 is ready for terminal count. The management poll for launch will be conducted on ULA Channel 3 at L-8 minutes.
SMD copies.
All right, sounds good. We are good for that. So, Dylan, can you talk to us a little bit more about the...
Okay, so while they're going to chat it up a little bit here, I did want to mention ULA and the Boeing capsule. I mean, it's mostly ULA, but they do the countdown a little bit differently than SpaceX does. We have a T- countdown and we have an L- countdown. They're both they're a little bit different. So my countdown that's up in the top corner there says T-. Technically, that's actually an L- countdown. It's counting down to launch time, which is really what all of us watching care about. Is we want to know how long until the rocket launches. That's technically an L- countdown. The T- countdown is what they use to basically get the rocket ready, do all their procedures. One of the unique things that ULA does is typically, as they're counting down, they actually get to 4 minutes, T-4 minutes, and then they hold for a really long time. And then at 4 minutes, the T- countdown and the L- countdown are both the same, and then they count down all the way to 0. But up until 4 minutes, they're not the same. The T- countdown is much smaller than the L- countdown, so it might say T- 5 minutes right now. I'm not sure where we are in that countdown, but and then it gets to 4 and it stops, and they have that hold.
We're in a good countdown right now.
And they wait until to do all their final checks there. So, anyways, just kind of one other unique, interesting thing. All right, so it looks like we're going to be in good shape. Again, in case you missed the beginning, we're looking good. Weather's looking great. Here's our launch trajectory here today. So obviously no like drone ship recovery or anything like that, but you can see where we get our solid rocket booster cut off and splash down into the ocean. We got our our booster engine cut off, and that splashes down in the ocean, and the capsule continues. The second stage and capsule continue on into orbit. Northeast trajectory here, meeting up with the International Space Station, which is about to pass overhead. It's getting very close. Obviously, we're only 15 minutes to launch, but you can see there's our space station, just about to reach Florida there in the top left corner. So we're getting close, and everything's looking good. Weather's looking good. We have 90% chance of go. They just said everything's ready from a hardware standpoint. So we're getting a little closer. We should get that crew access arm. That's going to retract here at about 10 minutes. So you can see the crew access arm is still right up next to the capsule. This is also a little bit different from SpaceX. SpaceX does that crew access arm retraction at about 45 minutes so that they can perform a pad abort if they need to using the Super Draco engines. So they have that capability on the Crew Dragon capsule. That's why they get that crew access arm out of the way early on. I'll switch to internal power. So right now it's being powered by the ground, but they'll switch to internal power also right around 10 minutes. They'll do that terminal pole at about 7 minutes. That's kind of their final check. They enter that last hold, the last T-minus hold, right around that 7-minute mark. Then we get the terminal count starts at 4 minutes. Let's see. Do you know if ULA has figured out how to do streaming from the rockets during launch? We have seen some views of ULA during launch. They just don't show it very often, but we have seen it in the past. They don't share a ton of cameras with us, but we have seen it in the past. I mean, I don't know what we're going to see today, but hopefully, with it being a Starliner launch, they'll show lots. I'm sure that they have engineering cameras that they can see during launch. It's just whether or not they're going to actually show them to us is always the question. Who's got the bug spray? I know that bug is driving me crazy that keeps going through the camera. Why is it an instantaneous launch window? Yeah, so it's because we got to meet up with the space station, right? So we actually have something in space that we're trying to rendezvous with. Because we're trying to rendezvous with it, right, that's going to pass overhead, right? Here's our space station coming by right now, flying over Florida pretty much right now. And you can imagine, if you wait too long, the space station's going to be too far in front of you to be able to catch it. And if you, let's say you were like, well, we'll just wait until the next time it comes around. Well, the next time it comes around, you can kind of see if you follow this white line around, all the way, let's see, all the way, gotta do it on this screen. Follow it up here, come around this way, comes up here. Now it's gonna go over the Midwest. So now you're no longer aligned with Florida anymore. So that's why it's instantaneous, right? We gotta get it in the air so that we can meet up with a space station. Get it in the air. Get it into space. We need to get further than the air, hopefully. We don't want any more problems.
Quite slowly today, but Dylan, if it needed to in case of an emergency, it could really get out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. I just heard the command get given to start the crew access arm retraction, but that crew access arm rotates 120 degrees back to the crew access tower. It takes just under 2 minutes to do, but it can be redeployed in about 15 seconds in the event of an emergency. With no crew aboard, we won't see anything like that today.
All right.
Looks like it's moving now.
And we do want to let you know that after liftoff, Dylan will do the flight dynamics from here in the ASOC. Then Brandy and Josh will continue their commentary from Houston through Ascent, spacecraft separation, and the orbital insertion burn. We also want to let you know today that we are updating our internal camera system on Starliner to have more live views inside in the future, but for today we'll be able to watch cameras on the rocket. We will also have live telemetry feeding back that will provide us with a real-time look at a spacecraft model that we will be able to take a look at and know exactly what's happening with the spacecraft when video is not possible as it moves through the dynamic phases of flight. So we are coming up on L-10, getting very close here, and we are now waiting to hear the next call, which will be to verify that Starliner is on internal power. And we were going to listen into the loops for just a few seconds.
All right. Well, I will. Sounds like we're going to get some video, right? So not uninterrupted video, but sounds like we're going to get.
10 minutes.
L-10.
Flight verify CST-100 on internal power.
And Starliner
Verified.
is now on internal power.
Somebody asked if I could compare.
Today is an instantaneous launch window.
Somebody asked if who was that? Martin. Martin asked, "How does this rocket compare to the Falcon 9 in size? Camera angle makes it look tiny." It's actually almost the same size as the Falcon 9. So the Falcon 9 is like 12.5 feet in diameter. I think this is 12 feet in diameter. The Atlas V is like 190 feet tall. Falcon 9 is like 200 feet tall or something like that. Somewhere in that range. I'm kind of giving you some round numbers, and you'll have to convert it to metric because I can't do that in my head. But they're about the same size. They're not drastically different. You know, it's not like setting a Electron rocket next to a Falcon 9 or something. Even an Electron rocket's a little bit smaller.
That the crew access arm is stowed and latched for launch.
Yeah, we can see crew access arm is gone. We're under 10 minutes now. We're coming up on the terminal pole, which happened at 7 minutes.
And we're about 38 seconds now away from the mission management pole that I spoke about earlier. And that will lead up to the...
What James Perry says, would the heat from the launch be able to cook a sausage if the sausage was placed 100 meters away? That's a very... I don't know why that question just gets to me. It's a very strange question, James. And I don't know why you need to know the answer to this, but I don't know, 100 meters away, what's that, like, is that like 300 feet or so? So like the size of a football field? I bet it could cook something from that far away. I don't know. That's a very, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm going to say, I don't know where to research that fact, but my gut says yes. That's the answer I'm going to give you.
Control. Go ahead. First step 260. Crew access arm stowed for launch. Roger.
And that call indicating that the crew access arm is now stowed and latched for launch.
LC switch to ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
So we're going to listen in now to Chief Launch Conductor Doug Lebo poll his team. Coming up in 10 seconds.
All right, this is like the big poll, I think, that we usually hear.
-7 minutes. Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion. Go. Hydraulic. Go. Pneumatic. Go. LO2. Go. Water. Go. Centaur systems, propulsion. Go. Pneumatic. Go. LO2. Go. LH2.
Go.
Has gas. Go. Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. GCQ. Go. Op support. Go. Com. Go. Umbilical. Go. Arm control. Go. ECS. Go. Redline monitor. Go. Quality. Go. Op safety manager. Go. ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer. Go. Anomaly chief. Go. Range coordinator. Clear to proceed. Flight director. Houston flight is go. Launch director. You have permission to launch. Proceeding with the count. ALC, verify T0 is set for 22:54:47 Zulu. Verify. Alpine 6 minutes.
And Lauren, you heard it there.
Okay, that's great, but they forgot one step. We got to check on Space Lobster Nation. Space Lobster Nation, give me a go, no go in chat for launch. I guess I'm go over here. All right. So yeah, there's our big terminal count poll. Terminal count officially starts at 4 minutes here. Here it comes. Everybody's checking in, giving me the go for launch. Looks like Space Lobster Nation is ready. We'll have to report in for the final call. Should I tell him that they have permission to launch? I always like when he says that. You have permission to launch. Actually, it's better than that because he's always close to the microphone. You have permission to launch. Like that. Is it too much? Too much.
LC flight. Starliner configured for terminal count. Roger.
Launch director, this is Space
Starliner
Lobster Nation
is
on
now.
countdown 1. We're go for launch.
Now minus 4 minutes and 45 seconds. All steps are complete prior to terminal count.
And Lauren, with that call, that all of the work is now complete, and the computers are going to take over the automated countdown at T-minus 4 minutes, coming up in here in just about 30 seconds.
Now minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Just a beautiful shot there.
Should we get our dramatic music going? Can't remember. I don't even remember what.
On my mark, the time will be T-minus 4 minutes and counting. 3, 2, 1, mark. 3:55.
Ground pyros enabled.
Ground system ordnance has been enabled.
All right, now we're getting close to it. 3.5 minutes.
3:30. Atlas hydraulics at flight pressure.
Atlas's hydraulic steering system has been pressurized for flight.
Yeah, no, but did anybody ask Rosie if she's ready? The anthropomorphic test device. I don't want to call it a test dummy. It's pretty smart, actually. Number of sensors that are on there.
Three minutes.
3 minutes to launch.
Securing LO2 topping.
All right, so now
Atlas tanks.
Atlas tanks are being pressurized
Topping
for
of fuel
flight.
oxygen in the Atlas has now completed, and Atlas propellant tanks are
SPS
pressurized for
internal.
flight.
Let's see, where am I going to put myself? I guess I'm going to go... I'll put myself over here. How's that? Because I'm going to get rid of that... I'll get rid of that countdown a couple of times. Everybody wants to know if Rosie's ready. Rosie! Come in, Rosie. Are you ready? Oh, we got pad mics. I think that's pad mics.
2 minutes.
1:59.
Oh, I like
Vehicle
that.
internal.
1:55.
Bot sequencer start.
1:50.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
Centaur hydrogen and oxygen are now at flight level, and topping is being terminated.
1:40.
Oh, listen to that.
Launch enabled.
1:37.
It's getting noisy.
SDS arm. $120.
OC is armed.
SES count started. EDS ascent.
It's the emergency detection system placed in ascent mode. Ready for an emergency.
EDS armed and ready means the emergency detection system is now armed.
1
And that
minute.
basically just means
Rob,
that if
report
it
range
detects
status.
something, it will
Range
trigger the
green.
launch abort system on Starliner and fire
54.
automatically. The
PLP
spacecraft
started.
would push itself far up and away from the rocket. We're talking a mile up and a mile out in just a matter of seconds. We certainly don't expect to see that today.
40.
Atlas at flight press.
Flight pressurization. Final status check coming up.
30.
30 seconds.
Centaur at flight press.
Vehicles now pressurized for flight.
25. Status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur.
Go Starliner.
All systems are go for
Here we go.
liftoff.
Go Starliner.
Liftoff is 2 seconds after ignition, so it's 0 ignition, and that 2 is when liftoff
10,
happens.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Starliner is headed back to space on the shoulders of Atlas, powered by a workforce dedicated to its success.
We have confirmation of a good MET epic timer on Starliner.
Confirmation of a good MET.
Atlas executed its roll program.
Already ready is now
getting
throttling
into
down to
attitude with the
maintain
crew in a
acceptable
heads-up
dynamic
position if
pressure
you
on
had
the
crew
vehicle.
on board today.
This is the first planned throttle down for Atlas in preparation for max Q.
Max Q, maximum dynamic
Look at
pressure
this.
on the vehicle.
Right now, atmospheric forces are the highest Starliner Atlas will face during the uphill climb.
Mach 1, Atlas V and Starliner are now supersonic. Vehicle now throttling up.
Up next in about
Engine
20
response
seconds,
is looking good.
Starliner's 2 solid rocket boosters will run out of fuel and burn out.
Why are there like 2 people talking? Is this on my end?
And we have burnout on both SRBs.
Good crew module forward link connection.
Already ready is throttling back up to full thrust.
Now that we pass the solid rocket booster burnout, you'll soon see those 2 solid rocket boosters separate from the vehicle.
Atlas V now weighs just 1/2 of what it did at launch, burning propellant at a rate of 2,800 pounds per second.
There you go, SRB jet.
And we have indication of SRB jettison.
Atlas continues to ascend using solely the RD-180 engine. That's about
2 minutes remaining in the booster
850,000
phase of
pounds of
flight.
thrust at sea level.
It's like, there's too many people talking. Why am I getting... It's not on
Already
this.
ready is throttling down slightly as expected.
No, this is muted.
Engine response looks good.
I think it's on their end.
Teams here on the ground confirming Starliner has a good trajectory. We're now 2 minutes and 55 seconds into today's flight, flying at an altitude of 56 kilometers.
Our next throttle down will be to control acceleration forces, limit forces on the crew to below 4 Gs. That is safe for an extended period of time.
All right, so
1
booster.
minute remaining in this burn. 1 minute to BECO.
That's what I was going to say.
Already
BECO.
ready is now throttling to maintain 3.5 G acceleration on the vehicle.
Starliner flying off the east coast at this point at altitude of 80 kilometers now, moving at a rate of 1,187 miles per hour.
It's just passing North Carolina and Virginia off the northeastern seaboard. For those of you watching along the coastline, you might be able to see this launch.
Okay, we're coming up 5 seconds to BECO. Now we're getting animations.
And we have BECO, booster engine cutoff.
Oh, show us Pico separation from the camera. Show me the camera. No, I don't want the animation.
We have successful staging. Pre-start on the RL10s. We have ignition on both RL10s. Centaur is now going to closed loop steering.
Just passed through several milestones. Teams here on the ground reporting that all are looking good. Ascent cover jettison there. That provided that
And we have
aerodynamic
airstrip
structure to
jettison.
the top of Starliner, protected the docking equipment during ascent.
And now that Starliner and Centaur are free of the atmosphere, well into the vacuum of space, that aeroskirt has been jettisoned.
Well, since they're showing animations, I guess we'll show ours too. So just to give you an idea of, here's our live look from Flight Club. You can see right where they are. So here's your booster separated. Second stage continuing on.
Now 6 minutes into today's launch, Starliner continuing to accelerate up the North American coast. Everything going smoothly so far. Starliner and Centaur have been ticking through their ascent milestones right on track, including the booster stage separation, Centaur ignition, and aeroskirt jettison. The number of status calls we'll be listening for in the next several minutes, but if all continues to go well, the next major milestone to watch out for is the main engine cutoff, when Starliner will be officially in space.
It'd be really awesome if we had a camera view. You got nothing.
We heard a report from ULA's team. We had a little bit of an overperformance on the booster, but that's a good thing. Centaur is more than capable of adjusting on the fly in its closed loop performance.
Okay. Overperformance by the booster. Interesting. It's all right. I think overperformance is probably better.
Centaur pressures are stable. Centaur looks good.
I don't. Somebody said it in the chat. I don't have a chance to get a word in between the three commenters.
Flight control teams are also monitoring the performance of the sublimator on Starliner right now. The sublimator is what is used to control cabin temperatures going up to space and coming home. Normally we use the radiators on the service module, but those are not powered up until we get into orbit.
Is there anyone in it? No, this is an uncrewed flight test. Uncrewed flight test to the space station. Coming up on MECO, which is, I think MECO is supposed to be like 11 minutes. So we still got some time. It says next up MECO, but we should have some time still. 3 minutes.
We heard confirmation that St. John's abort zone is open. We pre-select these splashdown zones in the case of any needed aborts. The first one would be off the coast of St. John's, Nova Scotia. We just heard the flight dynamics officer report everything is pretty good.
Do they have a second vehicle flying alongside to take this video? No. This is. I wish this was video. This is just a animation. Unfortunately.
Flight controllers here in Mission Control confirming that our main engine cutoff time is looking stable. It is going to be 11 minutes and 50 seconds into the flight. We are now 8 minutes and 50 seconds in, so that's still about 3 minutes to go until we hit that milestone.
Is it? No, somebody else asked. Is this crewed? No, not unless you count Rosie, the anthropomorphic test dummy. This is an uncrewed mission, but there is an ATD on board for testing purposes. That's Rosie. Should check in with Rosie. Rosie, how you doing? Give me a status check. Rosie? Nothing. All right, Miko's still coming up in 2 minutes. I don't know when that, like...
Now, one of the next calls that we will hear is that the Shannon abort zone will be open. Now, you can see on your screens that Starliner is making its way up the North American coast, just starting to go into the Atlantic Ocean, northern Atlantic Ocean.
It's like...
We pre-plan our flight trajectories, so we would not abort a crew into the middle of the ocean. They'd be near enough to land for quick and speedy recovery. So we're still in that St. John's abort zone. Expect to hear that Shannon open call coming.
Just saw it switch to Shannon right there.
And we just heard that call. Shannon now open.
No, we didn't.
So Starliner could potentially make that abort landing off the coast of Ireland now if needed, but so far no reason to think it will be. Starliner currently 153 kilometers above the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and that's about 95 miles.
It's like there's like 3 commenters that are talking over each other, and then we go radio silent for a few minutes, and I like want to fill the silence, but I don't know how long to talk because
60 seconds to Miko.
Because then they jump in, and then when they jump in, it's like all 3 of them at once. I don't understand what's happening. I thought maybe I had like multiple streams open, but I've literally closed every window.
We are 11 minutes into today's flight. Centaur and Starliner are passing Mach 23, Mach 23.3 and counting.
We should be
altitude of just under 150 kilometers.
About 30 seconds away from Miko.
Miko's main engine cutoff when both of the dual engine Centaur RL10s are scheduled to shut down. That again is coming up at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. About 5 seconds away now.
And we have Miko 1.
There we go, right on time.
Centaur engines have cut off. RCS is now at 100%
Main engine cut off,
SL.
right on time. Starliner is in space, but not done with the Ascent milestones. Hearing in the room that it was a good main engine cut off. The next milestone that we'll be looking for is launch vehicle separation, when Starliner will separate from Centaur booster and fly on its own. Even after that happens, we'll have about 15 minutes until our final major milestone in today's ascent, the orbital insertion burn that will raise the perigee, or low point of Starliner's orbit, out of the Earth's atmosphere. So stick with us. We're not done yet. Now 12 minutes and 30 seconds into today's flight.
All right. You can see a little bit of...
We just heard our Atlas console position report a spacecraft separation for 1450 after launch.
Still about 2 minutes away.
It's about the scheduled
now,
time.
Right now, ULA teams are confirming that Centaur is in a good configuration for separation, making sure that all of the pressures in the tanks are stable, and it will be able to conduct a proper disposal burn later.
Rosie, how you doing? Hopefully she's okay.
Flight control teams here in the room are moving to their insertion checklists.
All right, so the scheduled Starliner separation was 1454. Looks like they're going to do it for 1450. Oh, maybe you'll get video of the separation.
60 seconds to spacecraft sep. Centaur has now achieved its separation attitude.
Just under a minute now to go until the launch vehicle separation. The team here on the ground reporting that Starliner and Centaur are both ready for it in the right orientation and on a stable trajectory.
Oh, man, I hate that we don't have camera views.
30 seconds to Starliner separation.
Had 3 years to give us a camera view of all this. It's a huge bummer.
Centaur is holding attitude for Starliner separation. 10 seconds to separation.
Are we going to see the separation?
And we have confirmation of Starliner separation.
We have an animation. Okay. Yay.
And Starliner is flying alone on its way to orbit.
Confirm LV separation.
Confirm good LV separation. Thanks, ULA, for a smooth ride to space. And thank you, Dylan, for your help on that Ascent commentary.
With that milestone behind us, the next one we'll be watching for is that orbital insertion burn. That is going to raise the perigee, or the low point, of Starliner's orbit out of the Earth atmosphere, putting it in space for its full orbit. That's an important milestone to reach. It's going to be a 45-second burn. It'll change Starliner's velocity about 85 meters per second, or 190 miles per hour. And that's going to be coming up at the 31-minute mark in today's orbit. We're now just under 16 minutes into today's flight, so still about 15 minutes to go for that.
So there's a number of things that flight controllers are working on right now. They're transitioning Starliner from its launch mode over to its orbit mode. That includes powering up things like antennas, heaters, and those radiators that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, well, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn them down because it's driving me crazy. Which maybe that's what I do for you guys, but you're here. So, okay, well, I'm a little disappointed, to say the least. I guess I'm happy that we're in orbit. There's where we currently are. Somebody asked me to show you the flight path. I can't do that at the moment because I closed, like, literally every window. Let me switch over here. I closed, like, literally every window that I have open normally during launches because I was trying to figure out why I had 3 commentators all talking over each other. And I could not, like, I thought it was me. I was like, what is happening here? I couldn't figure out why I was hearing 3 voices in my head. And of course, all you guys are like, well, I don't hear 3 voices. It's just you. All right, let's go back to this view here. I guess we can keep an eye on this for a minute. I'm going to go back. I do want to look at a different, the other camera view that we had from NASA, because we didn't get to see that, but I'm also very, like, all right, can I stand on the soapbox for a minute here? Like, I'm gonna talk to you guys, but we're gonna talk directly to, I don't know if it's ULA's team or Boeing's team, whoever it is. Listen, we gotta have some camera views, right? So space flight in the U.S. I'm gonna stand on my soapbox for a minute. Space flight in the U.S. I understand that the main mission, we don't, like, it's not this isn't reality TV. It's not an entertainment thing. I get that. Like, if we don't have any sort of cameras, like, I understand this is not an entertainment show, but it is very entertaining. More importantly, though, space flight, especially human space flight that the U.S. government is paying for, is a public interest thing. Like, if we're going to succeed at that, and we want to get back to the moon and to Mars, and we want to get people to be like, okay, take my tax dollars and spend it on space flight, you gotta get people excited about it. And you gotta show us some camera views. We don't want to see a animation. We want to see the camera. Why don't they show us a camera view? I don't understand. Oh, I'm so annoyed by that. It's just like, we have to get public support. Like, people have to be excited about spaceflight if when you come out with a budget for the US government and they say, like, yeah, we're gonna spend X billion dollars on space, like, if the public is like, bah, last time I watched a space thing, all I saw was a cartoon. they're not going to feel super excited about sending their tax dollars in and spending billions of dollars on space flights. But if you show them a cool video from outer space that shows the... then maybe people will get excited and they'll be okay with spending money on it. I feel better. All right, I feel better now. Let's go watch the launch again. It's so frustrating that they don't, like, we don't need, like, IMAX cameras. Like, throw a GoPro on it and then we'll be okay. Just, I'm sure GoPro would even donate one. Be like, here, just put, like, cameras courtesy of GoPro. I'm so frustrated. Why do you do this to me? All right, let's go back to oh, man. Everybody love my sensor button. I'm so frustrated that we don't have any camera views. Like, when they were like, we're gonna show you camera views, you know, for as long as we have coverage. I was thinking like, oh yeah, well maybe, you know, like SpaceX, you get it up in space, and when they go in between coverage areas, like maybe we lose a camera for a few minutes and it'll come back, or blah blah. We get a camera for like 2 minutes, and then gone. I can't recover from this because it's just still. Let's see the trajectory that we're on. All right, so here it is. Somebody asked if we're going to be able to see it in Europe. I don't know. It could be. It's a possibility, I suppose, because it is nighttime in Europe, right? But this is where it is right now. So if you're in this area, you better run outside in a hurry. That's roughly where we are. So, we take a look. You go take a look outside and see if you can see it. My friend Adam Bell, Easy Tory, my 4-day-old is watching. Hey, congratulations, by the way. Let's see. You're digging yourself a hole. When's the Starliner going to arrive at the ISS? That's a good question. Let's get back on topic. It should arrive tomorrow. Of course, I had all my stats and exact timelines up here, but I had to I closed all the windows. Let's see. So docking is scheduled for tomorrow. I can't remember the time. 23:10 UTC tomorrow. So what's that? Like 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So that's when docking is planned. Undocking is planned for the 26th. So it'll be docked for 6 days, and then the re-entry is the 27th. Or landing re-entry is the 27th. Early in the morning on the 27th. Out in the White Sands Desert, the missile range. So it's a pretty short mission, only 7 days. Let's see. Now I want to go back through everybody's comments and see what everybody's saying. Successful launch, everybody should be happy. Yeah, I am definitely excited that it's a successful launch. I mean, I think obviously primarily that's what we want to see. We want to have a successful mission, successful launch, because we want to have these 2 capsules in space. So I think we're in good shape there. I think hopefully
Over the country who are supporting.
Haven't really listened in for a minute, but hopefully we should be in good shape. There, let's see. Let me get. Let me put myself over here, and we can see. We'll see their stuff. This is about actually. This kind of gives me a little bit of flashbacks here from December 2019, because this is about the point we were watching this spot, and we were seeing the thruster firings going kind of crazy. But I noticed, like right after launch, they confirmed that the mission elapsed timer was good. So that's in good shape. And you can see the mission elapsed timer at the bottom of the screen there. It says 24:40, which matches up roughly with our timeline here, 24:53. I mean, I'm sure it's not synced up perfectly with their systems. Let's see. How do we know if it's successful? Well, we don't know yet. We'll know if it's successful. Well, we'll know roughly how successful it is come splashdown. I mean, there'll probably be I don't know if there's a press conference today, but I imagine there's an opportunity for press to ask questions today after launch. And because it's a NASA mission, again, it is a government mission. It's a public mission. Like, people want to know what their tax dollars are spending money on. So NASA kind of has an obligation to at least report on basic status information. Like, we don't need to know like super fine-grained details, but so they do have a kind of an obligation to tell us basic status information on whether it's successful or not, or whether there were any major issues. So far it doesn't seem like it, although we're at this point in December 2019, and I think I'd have to go back and watch the live video that we did, but I seem to recall that like we just went offline and we thought things were normal, and then all of a sudden it was like, uh-oh, things aren't normal. But I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm misremembering. They should open source the telemetry. Well, you also do have to be careful, and this is another reason why they don't give out too much information, is we do have ITAR regulations to worry about, right? The International Trafficking in Arms Regulations. Isn't that what ITAR stands for? Basically, because spaceflight technology is very, very similar to missile technology. So you can't really open source the telemetry because, the U.S. isn't going to do stuff like that. They're not going to allow rocket providers, even private rocket providers, they're not going to allow them to open source information about how they launch rockets, because that gives people ideas on how they could launch missiles. And obviously, for pretty good reasons, the U.S. has no interest in helping other people do that. So yeah, you can't give away too much information, because obviously you want to kind of protect how that whole process operates. But, we should get some basic information. Let's see. Linda over on Facebook says the live picture was not as clear as SpaceX. Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't even bother me. I don't even, they could film it on a potato camera I just want to see like an actual camera view. So, you're right. The camera probably is not as nice as SpaceX, but that doesn't really bother me. I'm just happy that we had a camera view. Nomadic says, open source ballistic missiles. Sounds like a wonderful idea. What could go wrong? Yeah, it's not exactly the thing you want to be open sourced on. I was going to replay the launch, but right now I'm kind of waiting for, we have our orbital insertion burn. Is going to happen at 31 minutes, so we're just a couple minutes away from that. Sorry, what I meant was, since we did not see anything with our eyes, how do we know it was truly successful? I don't think, well, we're seeing the telemetry feeds. We saw in the telemetry feed last time, if I recall correctly, I believe we saw in the telemetry feed when things went wrong. So, I don't think, I have no reason to believe that they would intentionally mislead us by showing incorrect animations.
45-second burn.
Everybody looks relatively happy in the mission control room, so that's a good sign.
Get it into a stable orbit. And after that,
I don't know, I guess these guys aren't exactly smiling, but they don't look too concerned. They just look like they're focused.
minute and a half until the orbital insertion burn. Starliner is in the burn attitude. You might have seen earlier the nose of Starliner might have been pointed down towards the Earth, but that's actually the attitude that it needs to be, because as it orbits around the Earth, it will no longer be pointing at Earth. It will be pointing at that specific point in space that the orbital insertion burn will send us to.
You guys usually laugh at me when it occurs.
And once again, there'll be a lot of thruster activity. We want those 4 aft-facing OMAC engines, that's about 1,200 pounds of thrust each, to be pushing in exactly the right direction.
OMAC standing for Orbital Maneuvering and Attitude Control. They're going to fire for 45 seconds for this burn, changing Starliner's velocity by 85 meters per second, or 190 miles per hour. 30 seconds to go now until that burn ignites. Orbital insertion burn starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, this burn is going to last for
there you can see that
45 seconds.
Of course, they switched over.
Teams here on the ground reporting 4 good orbital maneuvering and attitude control thrusters.
You could see the orbit start to raise in the last screen, so that was kind of good news. Yeah, see, there you go.
Now the colors you're seeing on those jets, or you were seeing on those jets, they indicate which integrated propulsion controller those jets are mapped to. We have 3 IPCs, integrated propulsion controllers. OI cutoff in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have OI cutoff.
All right, so are we in a good orbit?
And we have confirmation from Flight Director Mike Lammers. We have a good orbital insertion burn.
All right.
Starliner is in a stable circular orbit on its way to the International Space Station. Now, this was a big hurdle to get through early on. We have a few demos to go on our way to the ISS. And then after that, hopefully a very good docking. But so far today, good launch, great performance from ULA. Atlas even gave us a little bit more of a push than we needed, but Centaur was able to adjust accordingly, place Starliner exactly where we needed it. And we have confirmation of a good OI burn. Once again, Starliner is in orbit, heading to the ISS.
It's a major milestone to get behind us, but it is really just the beginning. We've got a number of demonstrations.
All right. Well, so that's good news. This is now farther than we got on OFT-1, right? So this is where we had those issues started right about here. So yeah, now at this point we're in great shape. Sounds like today everything is going pretty good. The only hiccup, it sounds like, is that the Atlas booster overperformed, but really I think that's a non-issue. Atlas overperformed, Centaur was able to correct, and I think you'd rather have it overperform than underperform, right? So yeah, I think we're in good shape. So let's see. We'll feed the trolls for a minute. First name, last name 1 says he's wondering where all the satellites are. Thousands of satellites orbiting above us. Yeah, I mean, we also have, generally at any time during the day, we have, or at most times during the day, in the middle of the day, we have about 20,000 planes in the sky. And, we don't generally look up and go like, oh my goodness, how am I going to fit through all those planes in the sky? We have it's lots and lots of space. It's a lot more space than you're giving it credit for. So, and yeah, as a TP Seeker says, you can go outside on most nights, a clear night. It's actually something that I'd love to do. I do this all the time, especially if I'm in a dark area. Usually when I'm on vacation, I got nothing to do. I'll sit outside for a long time and just stare at the sky and see if I can spot and pick out satellites without using a tracking app or any. You can do that with a tracking app too on your phone, but just sit there and stare at the sky and see if you can spot satellites flying by. Because you can do it if you just sit there. It's got to be, got to be a pretty clear night. You got to have a dark sky with not a lot of light pollution, and you can just sit there. I do this every year on vacation. I sit outside and I stare at the sky. Actually, I do it in my backyard too. Sit outside and just look, see if I can spot satellites flying overhead. Anyways, all right, let me go. I want to go back to, let's see, I got to reopen my window that we had here that I did have open, which is this view. Right? Nope, you can't see that. Let me go this way. There we go. Now you can see it. Okay, so I wanted to show this view here. This is kind of, well, right now you got, looks like we got fire trucks out there. This is the pad where we just launched from. Looks like the pad is no longer clear, which is fine. Everybody's there. The rocket's gone. It's in space now. So, but I wanted to go back and look at, let's see, where was our launch? Right about here. Let me see. Did we have any, we're going to mute this feed. I don't know if there was any sound on this one. And I have no idea what the timing is, so we might just have to sit here and wait. Let's see, fast forward. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so there's no sound on this feed, so... Oh, there you go. You can see the water suppression system kick in. Let's look at this view for a minute. Here's our launch from this view. Look at that. That's a pretty cool view right there. And I want to see, we don't usually see, it's kind of cool actually. So we got the launch and then normally we would switch to go watch the rocket at this point. But this just kind of stays on the launch pad, which I think is kind of cool. Kind of cool to see, just to see what's going on at the launch pad after the rocket is gone. Like, right, we don't see this very often. Right, rocket's gone. We still got the water suppression system going crazy. We'll just stay on this for a minute here. They aren't fire trucks, they're food trucks. You guys still on the sausage thing? So strange. Now we can see all the smoke and steam cleared. Wonder how long it took before people come back to the pad. We'll check that in a minute. I got smoked to perfection. There's your sausage answer, right? So you get, it's smoked sausage is really what it is. Or steamed. What's the white light above the launch area? I think it's just a spotlight that's just shining through the steam there, the water. So let's see. I was curious to see how long the water suppression system was activated for. So let's see. Fast forward about 30 seconds here. Still going. That water suppression system is going to town. Here we go. A minute. There you go. A couple minutes after launch, stays active. See, the pad is drenched now. Let's see, then how long until... Oh, now we got... What's going on here? Hold on a minute. We got like water pouring out of the top of the fixed service structure there. Here, that's kind of interesting. Right? You see it? It's like raining from the top of the fixed service structure. Not sure what's going on there, but that's kind of interesting. Let's see, fast forward a bit more. I want to see when the first crews get there. Still raining from the top of the tower there. Let's see, let's fast forward. Oh, I see some cars coming in. This is about 23 minutes ago. The rain stopped. Here you go, here's your first vehicles coming in. So that was 23 minutes ago, the first vehicle's coming up on site, which is yeah, about 20 minutes after launch. Looks like everybody's arriving. Kind of cool. All right, well, that's all I wanted to see here on my end. I wanted to take a look. So Starliner's broadcast is done. They're starting to clean up at the pad. Let's see, where is it right now? Over the Indian Ocean here. That's roughly where we're located right now. Probably a little bit different because we did that orbital insertion burn. I'm not sure. I don't think Declan has that factored in here. But yeah, overall, I think we're in good shape. I mean, aside from, you know, had to go off on a tangent about the camera thing, like that bugs me. It just, I don't know, it bugs me that they don't see the value in the entertainment side of things, right? Like, I'm not saying we got to turn it into a reality show, right? We don't need IMAX cameras or, you know, crazy actors or anything. Like, we don't need any of that. We don't, see, I want to be this view. We don't need any of that kind of stuff, but we just want to share in the excitement, right? We want to hear the countdown. We want to see the video. We want to see like cool stuff that we don't get to see. Right? That's kind of what we're into. Right? So I don't know. Maybe that's just me being too greedy, but I want to see that exciting stuff. So they would get more support and enthusiasm if they had more cameras. Says Peg. That's right. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think. Like, I just want to see. I don't know. Like, it's fun to joke. You know, a lot of people make jokes about Boeing and stuff like that, and sometimes I join in on the fun on that. But ultimately, like, I don't know. I kind of want people to be just as excited about Boeing as they are SpaceX. Like, honestly, I don't care who sends astronauts into space, whether it's SpaceX or Boeing or NASA or anything. I just want to see more space flight. I want people to be excited about space flight. I think the way we do that is like sharing cameras and countdown feeds and like all that kind of stuff where you can listen to it. So I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. I don't think it's there with the presentation value here. And I understand that the presentation, like, they're not doing it for entertainment. They're doing it for a purpose. But at the end of the day, like, the entertainment is actually part of, I think it's part of the whole package. You got to have a little bit of that. A little bit of entertainment will help, because I think the little bit of entertainment will help fund the science part of it, the engineering part. right? You gotta bump up the entertainment slider. It doesn't have to go to 1,000. Just bump it up a little bit. And that way, the science and the engineering can get more funding. Okay, we went through this all already. All right, I'm going to end it here. This was fun. It was successful, which I am excited about. Don't get me wrong. Very excited that Boeing was able to put the Starliner capsule into orbit. Docking is now scheduled for tomorrow. It looks like everything was picture perfect here today. Good orbital insertion, good launch, right on time. The countdown seemed to go super smooth. Awesome, fantastic. Super happy for everybody at Boeing, United Launch Alliance. Like, they do fantastic work. So don't let my rant deter from that kind of stuff. I do think it was awesome and super successful. Okay, well. All right, well, I think I was just going through a couple comments, make sure I got everything. I think we got everybody. I'm sorry if I missed your message, but consider jumping over on Discord. Continue the conversation there. You can tell me whether I was right or wrong on my rant. You let me know what you think. Let me know over on Discord. I'll jump on for a little while and say hello. But thanks everybody for hanging out for a little bit here today. It's, of course, as always a lot of fun here. A lot of fun hanging out and doing all these sort of things. So we'll be back again soon. And hopefully the rest of this mission is super smooth and 100% success. All right, I'm going to end it right there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for hanging out today. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. I'll see you next time. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.